Belleville Area District Library Board will come to order, and we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It's got conflict. It's been a while since we could pay it its due. Alma, will you please take care of the roll call?
Priest. Here. Dawson.
Here.
Stoudemire.
Here.
Jeriga.
Here.
Peters.
Here.
Hughes Grubbs. Here. And Jehavitz.
We are anticipating she will be here. We met last night as a finance committee and we didn't hear that she wouldn't. Our next item, so we will wait and expect she'll join us. Our next item is approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second. There's a motion by Jeriga and support by Dawson that the agenda be approved as submitted before we, and we won't have to take roll call votes for every darn thing tonight.
I don't believe it.
Yeah, but before we do vote, I just want to make sure if there's any questions or anything that anybody has about the agenda. This is the time to discuss it before we vote. Seeing none, all those in favor of approval of the agenda, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed by saying no. There are no dissenting votes. The motion passes unanimously. Now we are at the item 4, which is approval of the May 11th regular meeting minutes.
I make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
The motion, there's a motion by Dawson and supported by Priest that the May 11th, 2021 regular meeting minutes be approved. And again, this is the time to discuss anything anybody has, or as often is the case, there are little details that might have been missed or need changing. If that's the case, pipe up now. Now or yeah. Seeing no issues, I will call for the vote. All those in favor of approving the May 11th, 2021 regular meeting minutes, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed by saying no. The minutes pass unanimously. We are on item 5, which is public comment. We do have a member of the public. Does she have any comment to make?
No, I guess not. I did want to make sure you all knew that the Sumter treasurer died last night.
No.
In St. Joe Hospital.
What's his,
Jim Clark.
Tony,
Tony is his wife,
Tony's husband.
right? They were married 32 years.
Wow.
But I believe it was COVID because they had to shut the treasurer's office down at one point because both Tony and Jim had COVID, tested positive and were sick and so. And then he's been in the hospital for 3 weeks, I understand.
Really?
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. Was there a did they meet tonight?
They met by Zoom tonight, 28 minutes long,
Uh-huh.
and
Wow. Well, that's big news.
Yeah.
I appreciate we appreciate your sharing it with us. It is difficult news. We'll see some appropriate way to convey as a group our concerns. Thank you. No other members of the public, so we will move on. Now we actually have a public hearing. I don't see a whole lot of folks, but maybe Rosemary will have questions. It is, our routine, it's our regular practice to hold a, public hearing for it. In fact, we're required to hold a public hearing on our budget. And June is the time for our budget. So we open to the public to come in and comment to us about issues that might be within the public sphere. And this is the time for that. Are there any comments for the public? Oh, yeah, we have to adjourn the meeting, right?
I think we just need to open the public.
Yeah, just open the public hearing, we know the time.
Oh, okay, we don't have to adjourn what we're doing, but we do know that we are opening the public hearing at 7:39 in order to entertain public input on our 2022 budget. Are there members of the public who wish to address us on our budget? Hearing and seeing none, we now close the public hearing at 7:40. And we will, the finance committee has done so very thoroughly, but we will go through the same budget during our committee reports. So it is not that we will not attend to it. And here is our joy. Now we can have joy. Okay, and here, I think I'll ask for a couple other committees before we do the building committee so that Joy can get settled. So item 7 on our agenda is committee reports, and with your indulgence, I will first entertain, I'll go a little off the list and just entertain a bylaws committee. John, are there?
I have nothing.
No report. I will also skip down and do the personnel committee. Do we have any?
Nothing at this time.
No report at this time. Policy committee, Mary Jane, do you have anything?
I have no report at this time.
No report at this time. And now Joy, I think I'll do the other ones. We might have some discussion on all the other ones. Joy, are we ready to get into the building committee?
I'm pulling up one report.
Oh. You will notice that Joy and I have come back to this meeting with a lot more hair than we had the last time we sat down with you all.
Sorry. And I have no memory.
We'll help you out.
Remember when we met?
Yeah, last week.
So, but that was just so soon, but I still have no memory.
We met the 1st of June, this month.
I remember it was a short meeting.
It was. All right.
I helped you out, but I left my notes in the other room, and I also have no memory.
Okay, here we go. Good.
So there were a couple weeks, there's Mary had a to-do list, a honey-do list, of things that just are like a lot of wrap-up kinds of things, and we had a big rain, so there were some weeks near the skylight, that's going to follow up. There were some, a week, maybe one, I don't know if it was more than one, in the curtain wall. over by the stairwell. There was an exterior spigot that was leaking, and the irrigation system wasn't turned on yet, and I believe needed to be turned on. The bees have been in for 2 weeks. On Charles Street, there's one tree that is dead that needs to be replaced. Patching was gonna be done in June. No, patching is gonna be done in June. It's like, I don't know why I got those together, because they were spraying fast. Trespa panels, they're still reviewing those drawings. And then there was a lot of technical talk that I didn't understand, but, coming soon. They have to find a new contractor for the, right at the entry, there's a trench drain that needs to be done, but our other concrete guy doesn't want to do it. People counters, that was gonna install both buildings. And Brown Dog delivered the mailboxes. They were gonna be installed the next day, so I'm assuming they have been installed, the additional mailboxes for staff. There's a couple things in the museum that still need to be taken out. Now that Dean isn't there. They're still waiting for submittals for the HVAC system. Matt is reaching out to Hennessy Engineering about the deposit that we had done on what is it, permits?
Yeah.
They need to install a lock on a wellness door area. Then we had some discussions about masking and opening and donor signage and teacher signs and stuff like that. But I didn't put any details down. Is there anything I missed?
The chairs are out of quarantine.
Oh.
Yeah, we spent a weekend, a day, well, I guess last Monday we went out, so just for 1 week, we've been open with limited amount of furniture, but it's been nice coming in here, seeing people, being here. And it was just in time for my granddaughter, my second granddaughter came, and she enjoyed sitting and reading and pulling off books and getting more and more and read. She's an early reader, so I had a personal enjoyment.
At Hennessy, besides the deposit we were inquiring about, we'll also need a report from them.
Yeah, and that's been requested we've gotten emails from Matt, who's gotten in touch with Rick Rutherford, and Rutherford's put forth those requests from Hennessy. Mary Jo, we've not received the refund yet.
Yeah, I think they're working on it. I think they are working on it.
At least it's in motion.
The leaks, well, I can tell you today it did not leak. So
Good.
That's a good
Which way was the wind blowing?
The leak in the front circular curtain wall, they came out, the last people came out and repaired that. I didn't get to talk to Dean, so I'm not sure what's going on. I don't know on the roof if they did a repair or not yet, but I know he was up there looking at it. Irrigation system is due to be turned on next Monday.
Tyler?
The asphalt, did get repaired out in the alley.
Did?
Yes.
Oh, it did?
And I believe our technology manager is meeting with the cable person at this library and at the branch regarding the network cabling that needs to be done in order to put the people counter in this building and the external Wi-Fi out at the branch.
And the brown dog mailbox
And the mailboxes and.
have been installed? Okay. So of all the items that, Joy just reported on, the biggest item that is taking attention from the building committee and from our building team is the HVAC updates, which will make the air even safer, which will help for any kinds of future flus or contagious viruses. And that is moving, but from what we were told, I think we're anticipating it may not be, it's gonna take a long time to order things, and things have slowed up in COVID and being able to order. So we might be expecting that not to happen until late summer. It sounded like late summer or early fall. The rest of the things, do you hear anything about the tree on Charles Street?
Just that the landscape engineering firm came out to look at everything.
Did
They
they?
did a punch list and they noted that on their list that needed to
Okay.
be addressed.
Is that Salisbury or is that the contract?
They're the contractor. Brian Barrett.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Have there been any word at all on signs like for vegetated garden and stuff like that?
And we're working on that with the, and Jennifer, we've been meeting with them, so.
And we just got an update from Jennifer. She was asking about one item, one small item. I think the key for you had asked about it, the donor wall, the key
Yeah.
for the amounts that people donated. She asked a specific item on that, but she didn't yet give us the idea of exactly when all these, they want to submit all of our outstanding signage needs in one package to the sign makers, and getting that package totally finalized. And
And I think they're probably doing some mock-ups for us too, so we can make sure
Okay.
it's right.
I know we got a $10,000 bid on that, and I just wonder to follow through.
Well, that was for the sign up, the donor sign that's, the lobby.
Does that one cost 10,000?
I believe so.
Is it okay to say wow?
Sure.
But I think it's the process, and we're back with those people about the key, and there's a couple of other things. There was a correction on the spelling of somebody's name, and so in this process, we'll learn exactly what it will take when we get other donations that we'll need to add, so we'll come to understand how to add those little slats into the donor wall and acknowledge our donors. But it's moving along, John. I think the HVAC is gonna take us a while, and hopefully we'll get the signage finalized
Yeah.
somewhere in the fall. We had hoped last year, this time, we thought we'd have all this stuff all wrapped
I was
up.
hoping it would be done by the 4th of July, but I guess not.
Oh, yeah, well, the signage, I don't know, I would think it might take longer, but who knows? Maybe she'll get, once they did the pieces that they did, but they did them little by little, I think the decision to make sure that everything goes in one place is taking this kind of time. So it might not be the 4th of July.
Has there been anything done about the closed circuit for the bees so that people can watch them?
No, that was the question I asked, but I have to go into the answer.
We're still working on that.
Because when we saw the
We're looking
picture,
for a camera that's, that can work, that's, can be battery operated and work with Wi-Fi.
Oh, okay. Because when I saw the picture in the paper, it really got me excited about it. I'd really love to see kids be.
Yeah, and we'll talk about it later in the director's report. There's a really nice write-up about the bees and this, what Rosemary's put in the paper has brought some interest and so, yeah, we really would like to, we wanted to put it in, was it the kids' area or the clean room we would like to close circuit?
Well, I think it can be a feed on any of our monitors that we have in the building. It can
So if it
be
would go in,
something that's
okay,
just live on the internet. We might want to pick certain times to run it. Sometimes it's not. There are times that are more exciting than other times.
Nighttime's boring. Most of winter will be boring.
One other thing that has to do with the building that we pointed out to our building team, because we're still holding those meetings virtually, is that the vegetative roofs have been really beautiful. The irrigation system for that, I noticed that some of them are not quite as vibrant as they were maybe a week ago because
Well,
of
the flowers faded, a lot of the purple flowers have kind of faded because of
because of the
They're not
regular
blooming.
cycle.
yeah.
Okay. Those vegetative roofs change, you know, so it's useful to look at them every couple of weeks or so because you've got different plants that are blooming at different times. But they're quite lovely.
And food for the bees.
Yeah, food for the bees, and that's what, yeah, it is a connected, those two features in our building are really connected. So thank you, actually, you came up with a very detailed report, Joy.
Once I can access written documents.
Yeah. That is pretty good. Mary Jo and John, I were there along with Mary Jane and John, and I were there along with Mary Jo. That's what I was trying to say. And you, either Mary Jane, have we missed anything?
I think so.
And John has already.
Oh, wait.
commented.
Yeah. I don't know if it was the last building committee meeting or the one before. The dishwasher, did it get fixed?
No,
Did it get returned?
no. I'm waiting for David to
Okay.
see what we need to do.
It could just be a lemon, like a car.
I'm the dishwasher right now.
What does it do?
It just won't work. It won't break, the water won't feed them to the unit. It happened before and it was still under warranty and they came out and had to replace a couple of parts, but it seems to be the same problem, so.
Okay.
It's a Bosch.
Oh,
So
that's
it's a
a
nice
nice
one.
one.
Yeah,
that's a good name.
I have one of those in 20 years, I think, I just replaced.
Yeah. Wow. They should wanna maintain their good name. Well, good. Any other comments about the building? We are going to have more and more people in it, and more public responses as time goes on. But for now, it sounds like we have taken care of the building committee. The other substantive report that we have today is the finance committee, because we have the budget and the amended budget and the allocations. And for this, I will turn to our treasurer, Tanya.
So the finance committee met last night and we were able to go through the budget documents that are included in your packet one by one. So we went through every item. So starting with the library budget, which is the general fund budget, not the debt retirement or the capital. But if you look at this particular spreadsheet, you'll see that we have a proposed budget for 2021. So that's, make sure everybody has something. Okay.
Let's see,
That's why I have to check.
check stuff.
So going through the columns, you'll see the 1920 audited numbers, so these are numbers for fiscal year 20. And then you'll see the approved budget for 21, and then there's the proposed amendment for 21.
Is everybody all with us, but make sure it's caught up? I was wrong in things, but this is, account payment.
So at the top of the spreadsheet are the revenues.
And mine up towards the back.
Mm.
Looks like this.
Oh, no, I have, yeah.
And
Sorry, Tanya. Sorry, Tanya, your fellow members are a little slow.
there are a lot of documents in the packet.
Yeah.
Budget related, so. So the one item that I wanted to point out on the revenues is the new library capital campaign. And you'll see the $42,000 here. Mary Jo explained to me that that's a one-time amount, that we're seeing in the 21 budget as a result of the, I guess the contributions that we received. And then you also see that we have $7,600 in general donations as well. So bottom line on our revenues, you'll see that there is an increase over what was approved in 21 and the amount that we're now amending the budget for, which is the $2,100,200. And I'm just gonna stay in this column and then we'll go back and talk about the proposed budget for 22. So if you continue to read down, you'll see that there's no change to the salaries amount. A slight increase as it relates to benefits of FICA, that's just to make an adjustment to reflect the actuals. For books and materials, I actually had a question here because I noticed that the number for fiscal year 20, the 249,502, is a little bit more than what we're proposing for this year. And Mary Jo explained to me that there was a one-time infusion, you know, with the final materials. In addition to the fact that there's also more e-content now as well. So that's why that budget is a little bit less than it was last fiscal year. Reading down, I did notice the $600 in bank fees. That's something that's new. But we have more than enough interest. If you go back up to the top, you will see we also have interest income. So we have more than enough interest income to cover our bank fees.
I don't understand what bank fees are.
Well, it's technically, it's the fees that we incur for using the credit card reader, they take a percentage of it. We get a lot of income from it, but we still have to pay them.
But do not we get interest?
Yeah, we also get interest, but the interest income is up on, under revenues.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we put the fees, under expenditure.
Yeah, so the interest is more than enough to cover the bank fees.
Okay.
Next page. So the top of the next page kind of starts with detailing contractual services. And there's really nothing out of the ordinary here. A little bit of reduction in telephone communications, and again, this is tied to our actual numbers. If you continue to read down under repairs and maintenance, this is where we pay for our elevator. So it's a lot more than we're used to spending here, but it's tied to our.
This is the elevator maintenance.
Yeah.
That maintenance on the elevator costs that much?
No, there's a lot of things in that. That's just one of the things that we take out of that category.
Oh.
But we probably will not get the 50,000, but we want to budget for this, for it so that we know what our, so we have enough money to absorb costs moving forward. Elevator maintenance, turning on the sprinkler,
Oh, okay,
servicing the HVAC units, all of those things fall under that. Yeah.
okay.
Getting a new dishwasher?
Or repairing the dishwasher, yes.
And you'll if you continue to read down, and comparing this to the column to the left, there aren't any changes until you get down to miscellaneous. The budget was 36,000, now it's 27,000. And these reductions are tied back to the fact that we're not doing as much travel and meetings as we had originally anticipated. And then because of COVID, there are people programs as well, so you'll see a reduction there. And then you'll see the grand total for our expenditures. So our approved budget was the 1,964,100, and the proposed amendment is 1,958,100. So it's just slightly different from what we had anticipated. And then if you go back to the front page, we can do these separately. If you go back to the front page, you will see the last column to the right is the 21-22 proposed budget. So you'll see that there's the increase in the millage amount. Rachel, is that part of the BDA capture, or what is that increase?
It's just that we got a report from the county every year that shows what the anticipated tax revenue is going to be. Even with the rollback, it will still be going up, so.
That's great news. And then you'll also see the increase for the state aid. And what's reflected in 2021 might be a bit of a timing issue, but 34,000 is what we typically receive for the calendar year, for the fiscal year. And below that, you will see our fines and fees, and there's just a slight increase there from the 53,599 to 61,600. And then under there, you'll see contributions and donations. And there's a reduction there because we're kind of going back to our normal amount that we anticipate for our donations. And so our revenues are anticipated to be slightly more than our 21 budget. So we get 2,138,000.
How come our salaries have jumped so much from 2020 to 2021? We hire a lot more people?
Are you talking about from this?
2019 to 2021.
I can't hear you.
Are you talking about from 2019 to 2021?
Yes.
Yes, because we're in a bigger building with more service desks and operating a branch.
And more
More people. We still haven't quite fully grown into the building, because of COVID, so we're still.
An interesting question. I go to a lot of restaurants and they can't find people working because of this, the money they're getting. Does that affect us at all? Do we
Well,
have some people still?
we've been pretty lucky so far. Everybody has stuck with us.
Yeah.
So, it'll be interesting to see when we start hiring again, to see what the market is like. But so far we've been okay.
Good.
It's interesting if there's like almost $9,000 more penal fines than expected in a year when there was a lot less driving, at least for part of it.
Right. Right.
It's like, wow.
Yeah.
But when they drove, they went fast.
Yeah, nobody else was on the street.
Yeah.
And that might go up, and we might be pleasantly surprised next year.
Yeah.
I would be pleasantly surprised by penal fines. Something kind of wrong with that, but oh
As long as it's not me being pulled over.
well. Yeah,
And then I see Mary Jo, there's also a slight increase in books and materials. And that's just as we kind of become more normalized.
So what did you say? Is it again?
Become a little more normalized. Books and materials.
Books and materials are
Books and
go up.
materials, yep. So they're going back up. Still not as high as it was in 2020. Yeah, but that was that in that one-time infusion that we had to do. Supplies are pretty constant, no change in bank fees and dues. and no change to contracted services. For telecommunications, we put a little cushion in there just to make sure we had enough to cover our utilities. Then, no changes until we get to postage. There's a slight increase there. And that's not, we may not necessarily need that, but we just wanted to make sure we had enough in the budget to cover it. And if you look under miscellaneous, it is going from 27,000 to 40,000. And this is as we're buying additional library program materials and supplies. So if you look at our beginning fund balance and our year-end fund balance, you'll see that we have a pretty healthy fund balance, which is a good thing because we don't know what types of maintenance or repairs or something might happen over the next few years. We want to make sure that we have sufficient funding to cover any maintenance or repairs or replacements that are needed. Are there any questions on our general fund budget? Any other questions? But Mary Jo, as always, she does a great job with this. You know, she spends an hour trying to coach me through it, but she does a really great job. So also included in your packet are two other spreadsheets. So one is our debt retirement fund balance, so this is related to the our millage. So you'll see here that we're not anticipating much of a change in our estimated revenue for fiscal year ending June 30, 2021. So the revenue estimate is 960,000. And then we have our debt payments that come out of that. So we have a remaining balance of 358,945, and then for fiscal year 22, we are anticipating a slight increase in our revenues and our payment, both principal and interest. Principal goes up a little, interest goes down, but our payment is about the same year over year. And we'll have a remaining fund balance of 344,595. Also in your report, are there any questions on that? So also in your packet is the capital projects fund budget. So you'll see here that what was proposed for fund balance is the 1,158,191, but it's been amended to reflect some of the delay that resulted as a result of COVID. So we actually have more of a fund balance that we had anticipated. We also have $2 million in construction work that's still in progress that will need to come out of that fund balance. So that leaves us with $1,023,050 going into the next fiscal year. And the expectation is that that will also be exhausted, leaving us with a zero fund balance in our capital budget. It for the budget items. So after we vote, do you want to talk about our ballot issues?
We will need to approve these items that have been presented, and so again, as Tanya has asked if there's any questions, her detail review is really helpful to see. I sat at the meeting and mainly listened to the kind of questions she asked and the answers that Mary Jane had, but there was even more detail last night that we went through in this, but she has certainly given a good reflection tonight. So if there are no more questions, we could entertain motions to approve these items. And,
That motion,
okay,
I motion that we approve the 21-22 Belleville Area District Library budget as presented.
Second,
it's been moved by Stonemeyer and supported by Doriga that we approve the 2021 and 2022 budget as presented. Are there questions or comments? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed by saying no. There are no dissenting votes. The item is approved unanimously.
Next, I would like to motion that we approve the 2021 Belleville Area District Library amended budget.
I'll second that one.
It's been moved by Stoudemire and supported by Doriga that we approve the 2021 amended budget. Questions or comments?
No.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed by saying no. There's unanimous approval with no nays. And then we have the fund balance allocation.
So this is an item that we're required to do per accounting rules. So I motion that we commit $1,015,000 of the 2020 collected library millage that is in fund balance for use of the 21-22 fiscal year's general operations per GASB number 54, fund balance reporting and government fund type definitions.
I'll second that one also.
Moved by Stoudemire and supported by Doriga that the fund balance allocation per GASB 54 be approved. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? And there are no negative votes. The item is approved unanimously.
I'm really glad you made the motion on the last one. Because I was gonna pull out.
I had a cheat sheet for that one.
Like I said, we're glad we have Tanya. Also, as she indicated, at our last meeting, we talked a little bit about the ballot initiatives, the millage renewal, which at this point is still renewal. And the finance committee was instructed to talk about it, and they did. So
we do have a recommendation. So our recommendation to the board is that we place it on the primary ballot for 2022, in which case, instead of it being a renewal, we'll have to use the replacement language instead. We could have tried to do it this year, in which case it would have been a renewal, but it would have been an expense for us that we didn't, think it was prudent for us to incur. And we think that, with next year, with the state election, that there'll be, more voter participation, and we want to have more voter participation when we bring something to the ballot.
If by chance, if we put it on the primary and if by chance it doesn't get approved, can we go to November?
Yeah, absolutely. We have the option of going to the general election ballot.
And that discussion was along the lines of the discussion that we had last month in the meeting, and that was reflected in the article that Rosemary had in the paper. So basically, we reaffirmed what we had as a group indicated, but we went into a little more depth with it. That's not an actionable item right now because we don't need to to do anything, we just wanted to make sure that Tanya was able to report that we did do as the board had asked last month.
And there are other decisions to be made regarding that, but they can be made much later.
Yeah, we were thinking probably by March of next year, we need to have figured out exactly what we're doing. And when we're doing it. Get all the paperwork done.
Yeah, there's language we have to have and things that have to be done, but at least we're of one accord about when we're going to do this. So that is very complete finance committee report. Before we move on, are there any other questions to do with finance? Okay, then we can move on to the marketing committee. We did not hold a meeting, did we?
I think we had it on the 20th.
Of May, or, yeah.
Yeah, we did a Zoom.
I'm sure there isn't a art committee.
I've got it on my calendar. Zoom art meeting.
Oh, that was the art committee.
I thought you said.
I said marketing.
Oh, I'm
but
sorry.
That's all right.
Okay.
A lot of the people that are on,
But no, we didn't have the marketing, but we did talk about it a little bit at the that we had kind of tabled things, but since things have changed with the COVID and a lot of the restrictions have been lifted, I think going forward, we will probably meet and decide on some celebratory activities.
okay, we may be having phases of celebration, I don't know.
So I have on my calendar, 11 o'clock, there was a library marketing meeting in April, on the 22nd.
In April, yeah, and I think we talked about that at the May meeting.
Yeah.
So I don't think we had a specific marketing committee in May, but, as Elma said, we probably will convene and begin to talk now that in April, the way things were in Michigan in April, it was very hard to foresee that we would be as far as we are right now, in early June. It was, we were fearful we were going back to the drawing board, so we'll look for brighter days and look forward to a marketing committee. Now, we do have the art committee on here, and I do believe, and the art committee did do some meeting, which was the 20th of May,
Yes.
and we can discuss that if anybody can remember what we did. We are, in our defense, Michelle Montour is chair of the art committee, and she is very capable. And she would not be walking around like I am. I think I came to that meeting. It was a Zoom meeting.
Right.
And I believe that Alma and Mary Jane and I and Mary Jo were there, and
I wasn't there that night.
you weren't in that one.
Must have
just been here.
I say, I don't think I was there.
I don't know.
We talked about the loan from Chain of Honor,
Which is,
Which looks beautiful.
yeah, it is pretty. And we approved, I know that Michelle Montour talked with Dan, and I know from the building committee that Dan is working on getting the wall display mechanism ordered. The walker system that the art will, for the temporary exhibits that will go on that wall that we could see out through that door. And we've asked him about it at every building committee, so we did ask him about it last week, and we talked about it in the building committee. He did not yet have the exact amount of money that it's gonna be for that system. Is that right, Mary Jo? So we're awaiting that, that's a big part of our art, but we did get approval, and I think we talked about this last month, but I'm pretty sure, Rosemary had it in the paper, that we've approved, that once we get the Walker system in, our first temporary exhibit will be the BACA, those that participated in the BACA, competition, those winning pieces, which will be great fun. So we anticipate that'll come along before the end of the year. I guess a lot of things will be clearer in the fall. And other than that, in the art committee, was there anything?
I think, wasn't Michelle supposed to meet with Doug Peters about something?
She was gonna talk to them to see if there was any information about the artists of the Sheila Barnes piece.
Okay.
And he actually stepped in yesterday, so I talked to him about it. He didn't have any, there's not any information about the artist, but he suggested some wording for a sign that we're gonna put probably upstairs near the painting. So I think we've got some wording on track for that.
And will we be able to do that sign without it having to go through this sign process that the rest of the stuff is? Or what were we thinking?
I think I'll probably ask Jennifer her advice on that. There might be a simpler solution. to that.
Something is, I think the simpler the better. For whatever we decide to do, but it should be consistent, we shouldn't do anything that sticks out from the way things are labeled the rest of the building.
Are you talking about a sign that says the painting is unknown from?
In the style of Jackson Polydon.
Yeah, okay. So-
And we don't know the artist.
Right, but I don't think it's appropriate to have it be like these. I think just a plain glass, like they have a museum, plain glass, and you just.
And we're looking at doing some things like that upstairs near the picture of Fred C. Fisher
Right.
library and
Right.
Fred C. Fisher. So it'll probably be similar to what we put there.
But it wouldn't necessarily have to have this.
It won't
switch.
necessarily.
No, it shouldn't, that,
Right.
to me, that's more of a, this room is, or this atrium is, whatever.
Yeah.
The other things are paintings or,
I think we had a vision that kind of the museum style,
yeah,
So it may
Glass.
not, so we wouldn't have to put it through the same process. as
No.
these other signs.
that would be overkill.
Okey dokey, see? Good thing we talk about things.
and the art committee's planning on breaking in June and meeting again July 15th. They're not gonna meet in June. The art committee.
Oh, okay.
They're gonna meet, planning a meeting July 15th at 3 p.m.
I should have put my hearing aid in. I thought you said something about somebody who was going to be breaking teeth. I was almost in the car and I'm like, no, I don't have time to go back together.
So July 15th at 3 p.m.
So good, nobody's teeth are going to go.
Okay, then that takes care of all our committee reports, I think. And thank you, everybody, for participating. Most of the people around this table participated in one or more of the committees and have been helping in the decisions to keep us going. Now we have our accounts payable, item 8. And the accounts payable sheet is in your packet. I'll entertain a motion.
I have one question. Oh, I make a
Are you gonna
motion.
move?
I make a motion to approve accounts payable.
It's been moved by Chehevitz and supported by Stonemeyer. And Dawson, but.
It doesn't make any difference.
I just had one question. Oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, that's a properly made motion,
Yes.
now it can be discussed.
The DTE bill shows, DT Energy shows up twice, one for 115 and one for 44,400, blah, blah, blah.
The 115 is for the branch.
Oh, okay, that would make total perfect sense. I was just like, why do we have?
Good to ask those questions. I actually asked them myself.
How is the population at the branch working out? Is that being used?
Once we get all of our restrictions lifted, we're gonna really work on pushing publicity.
Okay, good.
Right now, we're really limited to the number of people who can be in there, but.
Yeah.
Now that that's starting to go away,
It's been really hard.
yeah.
To get it used because the number of people is so limited and when you have to put it, capacity to 50% or something.
And you're still staffing it with 2 people?
Mhm.
Almost have
It's
to,
a safety issue.
Right.
for security, you almost have to.
Yeah, so we're hoping that we can finally start seeing how well that whole plan is working because it's kind of more so it's lucky we've been able to get use out of this building, but we haven't yet been able to really see how Sumter will work. Hopefully in the next couple of months we will. Any other questions on the accounts payable? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed by saying no. The accounts payable for this month has been unanimously approved. And we are at our director's report, which is very complete and colorful this month. There are all kinds of notices that are.
A picture is worth 1,000 words, so yeah, I'll skip forward to the bees and then we'll backtrack a little bit. Yes, the bees have arrived. I want to give a big thank you to Teresa Antonelli and Janice Van Aken for donating the beehives to us. Also to Teresa for paying for Bees and the Bees to install the hives and take care of them for the first year. They've been by a couple, they installed them and then they came by about a week or so ago to check on them to see what was going on, and the hives are looking really good. They're very healthy. And the bees seem to be very, I don't know how to tell if bees are happy or not, but
They smile.
As long as they stick around, they're happy.
I think they're happy. So it's been a very positive thing. So far, they've been very good neighbors to us. Segueing a little bit, you just mentioned the branch. I want to alert you to the fact that Tuesday, July 13th, which is the same day as our next board meeting, at 6 p.m., we're going to have a dedication of a branch of a bench that was donated by the Belleville Rotary Club. So it's going to take place at the Media Center on July 13th at 6 p.m.
16, you said?
July 13th. And
You said 6 o'clock.
it's going to be at 6 p.m. So please, if you can make it, join us, join the Rotary Club. Also, members of the Sumter Township Board plan on being there as well. I'm hoping that this can kind of help us reintroduce the branch to everyone as well, so we can sort of do like a grand reopening at the same time.
So we'll go down there and then we'll come back up here and have our meeting.
Right. Okay, let's talk about the fun stuff.
Before you go off, you just talked about the bees. Yeah, there is a really fun flyer in your packet about the bees. And also right over here on this table right across where the temporary exhibits will be, the staff has put together a lot of information on books and issues about bees. And so this whole idea, we will be able to continue. We're going to have programs in the summer about bees and then programs about birds too, I think, birds and bees. So
A lot of plans.
we are really using this as ways to educate. Well, it's been educating me.
Sure.
My good friend Joy.
Hillary has been very interested in the bees, and she's going to learn how to take care of them
Yeah.
from bees and the bees. So she's very excited about that.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah. So, this last month, we've seen a lot of changes, a lot of really good changes for the better. We have restored seating in several areas in our library. At this point, socially distant seating. We've opened the rooftop terrace so people can be out on the terrace.
Oh, boy.
So, and mask wearing has gone away outdoors, so you can be out there and relax a little bit. We are trying to use the terrace for some of our smaller programs. If there's a weather issue, we'll meet inside, so we're starting to pull back some of our smaller programs to meet in the library. We have also ended quarantining of library materials, and all of the COVID guidelines, the state health department guidelines, the MIOSHA guidelines have all changed a lot over this last month, sometimes multiple times, depending. So it's been kind of hard to figure out where we stand, but we are looking forward to getting reopened as much as we can to be as normal as possible, beginning on July 1st. And beginning on July 1st, we will no longer require masks inside the library. We will still encourage masks for anyone who feels comfortable wearing a mask. We will probably also really try to encourage mask wearing in the children's room, since children under 12 cannot get vaccinated yet. The social distancing restrictions are going away. All of the chairs and tables will be restored. Study rooms, quiet study room will be reopened. Indoor programming will be able to resume. We do have a lot of programs already set. A lot of those summer reading programs we had to set 6 months in advance, and so those are not, those are still going to be virtual programs. So, still planning on doing some outreach type programs. We've got some pop-up programs happening all over town. We have, time in here. This is yeah. There's some outdoor story times happening, June 14th at Horizon Park at 11 a.m. June 21st at the Sumter Media Center at 11 a.m. Also, the Pandemic Driveway Band is going to be at Van Van Hoff's Paris Park on June 24th. So we're trying to kind of take advantage of areas around town to do some of our library programming. We have just started our summer reading program, and we're getting a lot of people starting to sign up for that. The theme this year is Tales and Trails.
Excuse me,
Yes.
is there going to be a cap on the amount of kids that can attend the program?
Right now, a lot of the children's programming are virtual, or they happen outdoors, and so we don't have to worry about capacity anymore.
Okay.
In the fall, we're going to have the children's librarians are meeting to figure out how to do programming in the fall, and how they want to best work on that and keep everybody safe. So there might have to be some limits depending. But we are very close to being back to normal, so I'm very, very happy about this. It's exciting.
So can we jump back for just a second?
Yes.
July 1st, anybody who feels comfortable coming in here without a mask can do so.
Yes.
Okay.
All of the state orders go away on July 1st.
Right.
Yeah.
So why would children in the children's area be wearing them? Because they're the least likely to get it.
Well, that's coming up to them and their parents, but we might, even though we don't require it, we might still say, hey, you might want to wear a mask when you go through.
Okay. And then going back to the story times in the fall, if things continue to improve, why would there be?
Well, there might not be, but we need to kind of prepare.
Okay. To me, it sounded more like this is what we're doing.
Okay.
It might prevent kids from catching another kid's cold,
Sure.
you know, because those are rough.
It's just something that I feel like they need to think about before we just run wild. So we can just kind of make sure that we're.
Yeah, we are still requiring, we're not asking how old kids are, because it really is on the parents, but we're still requiring 2 to 11-year-olds to have masks. But, I mean, kids, 12 and up you have to be 12 to be there without a parent, so if a parent has an 11-year-old and says it's 12, he's 12 years old, you know, it's on, then he's vaccinated, so it's still based on vaccination.
When will the Rotary start using this room?
We don't have a timeline yet for outside groups, but we're hoping to get that restored as soon as we can as well. So hopefully by August.
Okay.
It's a big difference from April.
Everything is
Sure.
by year still.
Everything is still by year, and
Yeah.
I'm very cautiously optimistic that we're done with this, but you know, they might, I don't know what's gonna happen in the winter time. I can't predict that, so.
There could be some odd
Very,
variant
Right,
going
but
on, or,
hopefully we're at that.
That's
Boosters
the
needed,
word,
or-
variant.
yeah.
But these, extra items and then the, longer piece on returns to public library investment.
Yeah, and I'm sorry it's so long, but I thought it was really
It
interesting.
is
I
interesting.
thought it was really interesting that the author of the article was the Federal Reserve Bank of Chicago, and it's not normally someone who does library studies.
Yeah, the Federal Reserve Bank of Chicago, though, did do a lot of work on investment in early childhood. In my professional career, we worked with them a lot about how the bang for the buck, what is it, if you invest in early childhood education and care, the society would benefit. So I don't know, maybe the Federal Reserve of Chicago just has a more social, understandings, social
Well,
investment.
they're the ones
better.
who do the money, smart money, programs that is a yearly focus, for libraries to do a lot of financial and personal finance, programming, they sponsor that too, so maybe they do.
Well, they were talking about the effect of public libraries on property values.
Mhm.
Yes,
Mhm.
You know,
this has part of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I think this we'll see, we'll be seeing just how,
And the positive impact on school test scores.
yeah, yeah. Excellent, well, thank you once again for, thank you for an excellent report. Director Seki. Now it's time for the board to report. So trustee comment. And I think I'll go around the table again, we'll start with Linda.
Okay, well, I just want to say I was so happy to come back into the library with my husband last week and see the painting out and the furniture out in the children's area, which I really love that furniture. I hadn't seen it before. So it's not only cute and appropriate, but it's comfortable, it's inviting, and you guys did a great job. I really loved it.
Now you just gotta bring your grandson.
I know. Yeah, he's coming in about 3 weeks.
Well, there you go. Joy?
Well, I love that bees are my bees are going crazy right now, so I'm sure the bees up there. Is it 3 full hives or is it 2
3,
hives?
yeah.
now?
It's 3.
Okay. I mean, all 3 have bees in them.
Yes.
Okay. So that's cool. I want to go up there soon sometime.
Are those chives that are blooming on the roof? Is that what that is?
Doing what?
Are they chives with the purple and green? Is that, bees love that.
And bumblebees.
And they're beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful plant.
So, and I'm excited that we're gonna be at a close to fully open status, I hope soon. Maybe we can talk about our big shindig in 2 months.
Maybe, well, Alma has said, well, she'll call a meeting and all of,
We have to wait, but it would be nice to be able to think like that.
or maybe we can think about stages of things that we can do. But yeah, like I said, I wouldn't have believed that we'd even be entertaining any of this when we were talking about it in April with Michigan going as crazy as it was.
Well, just as the big change, we've been tracking the 48197, 418 zip codes since May last year. And April, it was 49 new cases per day, mid-April. Now it's 2.
Yeah,
It's just an amazing difference.
it is amazing.
That's all.
Okay, Mary Jane?
I was just thinking when we were last at a big shindig in the old building, we were all fighting over who was gonna wear which mask, but remember, they went this way. Okay, so I wanted to say thank you to Jen for talking to Therese to get these up on the roof.
Yeah, that's.
It wouldn't have happened if you hadn't
True.
approached her.
Yeah.
She's a great asset to the community, and so are you. So, thank you. I came in here last Tuesday with a friend of mine who's in her 80s. And she hadn't been in the building. They were out of town in Florida when everything opened, and then she doesn't get around very well. So she saw everything but the back area. And thankfully the chairs were out because in every section, she needed to sit down. So it was a good time to take her. I don't know if any of you watch local news, but there's a 2nd grader in Beverly Hills, locally, not California, who was afraid that libraries would close during the pandemic. So he opened his own. And he has this nice bookcase with all these nice books from Harry Potter to Captain Underpants and things in between. And he even has library cards that are not embossed, with the plastic stuff over it. Laminated, thank you. And he tells the kids, so bring it back in 2 weeks or when you can. And the thing that they showed on TV on the news showed him opening his front door. Dad, do you need a book? It was this kid that was probably, kindergarten or 1st grade, who was out on the sidewalk riding his bike, and he came in and he left with a book. But this young man, when my husband and I were watching it, listening to him talk about the value of reading and how important it is to have books in your life, I looked at Rick and I said, what is he, 40? He sounded like any of us, probably even a little bit better. So if you get a chance to go on the Channel 4 website and see this kid, he's really good. Cute, smart, and very effective. That's it.
That's a great story. Tanya?
So, I just want to thank Mary Jo for doing such a great job with our finances, just making sure, everything is always easy to follow, easy to understand, you're very thoughtful, when you go through the whole process, so I really appreciate that. And then also, I see mention in here about the Lake Fest. So I'd like to learn more about that. I think I read about it in the paper, but I'm kind of excited about, having something again in the community, because I feel like we haven't been able to really socialize in such a long time. So I'm really looking forward to the Lake Fest.
So that's June 25th.
Right.
This month, great.
For the end of this month. The week after the traditional Strawberry Festival. So it won't negate Father's Day, which has kind of been unfair to fathers for all these years.
There's still a car show though.
On
Father's
Father's Day, yeah, well,
Steve Cinnamon taught that.
that's kind of a father thing. But it,
Great to see everybody in person too.
yeah, Alma,
I'm saying ditto to what Tanya said. It's good that everybody got a chance to get out and happy that things are starting to get back to normal. And also wanted to wish a couple of people a happy birthday. They know who they are, so I won't say their names, but
put them at the
Do you
end.
know their ages?
I won't do that either.
Thank you.
We put them at the end of the tables, we thought maybe they'd bring us cake.
But anyway, yeah, it's good to be back. Hopefully it'll be an enjoyable summer for everyone, you know, after such a long winter. And I see people out interacting with one another, and I think people have come to have a greater appreciation for life, friendships, family, all of them. So it's good.
Yeah,
Yes, it's really exciting to see downtown. Yesterday, we had a car show and the farmer's market. We've got a captured audience out there. I think we need a sign at the end of the street, July 1st. Please come visit your library. And then have people, because there's so many people out there, I ask at times, like at the hardware store, have you visited yet? Oh, no, but we need to encourage that.
Well, COVID has put a big damper on.
yeah, I think it'll start, people are parking over here for that, and I think people are coming
Yeah.
for
A
that. There's
lot of people were coming in yesterday.
Good,
Yeah.
good. Also next door, that doctor who owns that,
Mhm.
you know his name?
Dr.
It's not Rob. Anyway,
No, it's,
anyway, they're painting that building supposedly to coincide with our color scheme here a little bit. I'm seeing it, but okay. Then they're doing that today and tomorrow. Also, I've been on the phone with, trying to contact, Deb Dingle and
Ron G.
with this concept of if they can lead us in the direction how we can get charging stations here. So, because there's gonna be a need for it in the future. And so I'd like to pursue that further.
Go, John, go.
And that's it.
If you cross that up to the city, seeing as we share the parking lot with them.
No,
Not bad.
they've got their hands full.
I know, but it wouldn't be a bad idea to just sort of put it in the back of their mind, you
Okay.
know?
I will speak to the new,
There's some grant or something that could be
Yeah,
a joint
they might,
grant.
yeah, they might be able to get some.
well, he's getting grants now to take that building down next to the city hall and getting inspectors also. So he's moving on. He's doing some good things.
Good. Is that it?
Yes, thank you.
All righty. Well, I have just this fact that we are here all together for the first time to just see each other in person. And when we go out in the parking lot, we might even see that all of us still have mouths and actually can smile. I'm very happy for this meeting. It is a new beginning. It's our fiscal year and we start, this is the end of the fiscal year. We start anew and we really have a lot to do. I look forward to getting together maybe for a preliminary discussion on the marketing committee before you're gone in July, Alma. But I thank everybody on this board for staying with it, and particularly again, the building committee. It's been a joy working with the building committee, and we've all really been very engaged. We all had a hard time when Dean left his little perch over here and he seemed to have a hard time too, since he never really will get things cleared out and actually really leave. But we've had a really, really good building experience. And considering all that's come our way, I just, can only celebrate and be pleased and look forward to what more we can contribute to this community. So thank you, everyone. John?
Madam Chair, I make a motion that this meeting be adjourned.
I'll second that.
It's been seconded widely. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Nobody opposed. We get to go, and we get to go right before closing time.